Let's slap down a stream marker. It's time for New Game Plus. I forgot to change my stream title. Let's see. Full New Game Plus playthrough continues. And Walker art. Slap down that marker. Last time on Dragon Ball Z, we did the entirety of the Garlemald section of the game. Well, I say the entirety, we'll obviously be back there at some point, but the main part. We went dungeon to dungeon, so we'd finished the Thavnarian Tower, we returned home with our talismans, we went back, and then they decided, hey, we got these talismans, we're gonna take the fight to Garlemald, so a contingent of all of our friends throughout the entire game showed up to form the Ilsabard contingent. You went to Garlemald. It was pretty sad there. Everyone's tempered, except the people who aren't. The people who aren't don't trust us, because apparently the radios protected them from being tempered. Don't ask questions. Varus's corpse got turned into Anima from FF10. He was a primal. He was the one tempering everyone. We got body jacked. That part was the part I was looking forward to most playing. Again, Xenos fucking kidnapped us, put us in a soldier's body, snagged our own body, went to approach our friends in it. We had to go through the most stressful duty of the entire game, running to Camp Broken Glass in the body of a shitty soldier that we normally mow down by the thousands. They suck. They have 80,000 less HP than we do, and no defense. But that was fun. That duty it was the thing I was second most looking forward to replaying, is that duty. Garlemald as a whole is pretty good. Van Daniel shot the moon with a laser beam. Heidelin stopped it from working all the way, and then we went to the moon. That was the biggest TLDR of my life, but basically we're resuming on the moon. Because they want a free Zodiark, and that's bad. We're not gonna let that happen. So we went to the moon, we found the man called the Watcher, the spooky little simulacrum man who looks like an ancient. Heidelin sent us to him, and we're gonna go figure out how to stop Zodiark from breaking free. How to stop Xenos. Oh, also, last time we found out that all of the suffering the world is going through that Xenos caused is purely for us. He said, hey, all this terrible, horrible things where people have been dying by the thousands, my gift to you. And so the Warrior of Light do feel kind of bad about that. You must confront those lost souls, yes, but you need not expel them by might of arms. A feather touch, a firm word, simple methods may send them away, faint echoes as they are. Wear the strength of sentiment that drives them, however, emotions that do not fade even with the passage of centuries. Make haste, though yet distant, unwelcome guests draw closer. So because all the shackles binding Zodiark have broken, shades of the past, people who sacrifice themselves to Zodiark are interfering with his work. Where? When? How long? Was it truly long ago? We were happy, at peace with the star. We nurtured it, helped it grow, with our will, our creations. We were the star's beating heart, its life. Every soul a drop of blood flowing through its veins. To live, to learn, to create, to make better. The star flourished as we did. Do you remember? As the whispers die, the final spirit fades. No shadows of times long lost remain around the drowning brand. Mark, Mark! Space dog. An unusually lustrous dog is gazing at you with what seems to be fond anticipation. It appears to be waiting for you to follow it. Shoutouts to lustrous dog. Follow the lustrous dog. Try not to fall behind. The lustrous dog leads the way. Shoutouts to lustrous dog. Ah, my hunt marks, but I can't. Lustrous dog is running. Best puppo. Me and my dog, running on the moon. Party in here of people with very similar names. I think they're fishing. There are so many fishers here. There must be a fishing party. Fishing on the moon. Fishing on the moon. Don't mind me, fisherman, just taking my lustrous dog for a walk on the moon, as you do. Oh, there's a script fish there? That makes sense. The dog silently regards the spirit that lurks near the brand. We in the star were fulfilled. Hold on, I'm gonna break the current narrative to shrink this a little bit. I realized last time that it kind of cuts off the box. Don't mind me. Alright, awesome. I don't know why I randomly thought of that. Wanted for naught, mourned for naught. So why? Why did it have to end? I'm sure people are prepping for 6.2 with script and all that. Final days taught us to fear a death forced upon us. The injustice of duties and dreams left unfulfilled, the grief of unexpected partings. Swift as darkness, cold as ash. Such tragedy, yet no catharsis. Such truth, yet no consolation. As the whispers die, the spirit fades. All is silent and still around the numbing brand. The lustrous dog is once again staring at you expectantly, and who are you to deny it? Follow and try not to fall far behind. Run right through that moon mantis. Dog don't give a fuck. Right through this fate with no fear. Don't mind me, moon monsters. Oh, there's a level 90. That must be a map. Map party! Lots of activity today. Nice to see. Sometimes the game do be quiet. Unattenders. The dog silently regards the shadow that lurks near the brand. Hello, anguished spirit. My lustrous dog has told me to approach you. How you doing? Our perfection came crumbling down, such overwhelming despair. In that moment we knew the end was nigh. The faintest glimmer of hope remained. We gave our lives that others may live. We gave ourselves to Zodiark. Zodiark, our Lord and Savior. Forge our world anew. To live and love again. Become one with the star. Fill earth and heaven with life, with paradise where fear is distant memory. Pardon me, but would you be so kind as to step aside? Ah, that unmistakable color, the soul of Azem. But not the friend I knew, I think. Nevertheless, you are you. So Emet-Selch meant for you to have it. You seem surprised. Why might that be? We meet again, Hythlodaeus. Again. I do not believe you and I have yet had the pleasure. Yeah, but Emet-Selch made a copy of you, and we were best as buddies. Emet-Selch created a shade in my likeness. Not only me, but all of Amarat. How very like him. A slave to sentiment, ever after an eternity. As you may have guessed, I am different from the shade you met before. No mere approximation, but the original. The soul sacrificed to Zodiark. We remember in vivid detail the events leading to our purgatory, the plans and plots for our resurrection, Heidelin's intervention and Zodiark's, and the stars' final fate. And then we drifted in a waking dream, our minds steeped in fog, until you came. I know not what you and your friends intend for Zodiark, or the future of the star. Nevertheless, in you I place my trust and faith. In you I choose to believe, as Emet-Selch did. Believe in yourself, and all will be well. Uh-oh. More new arrivals. Though, Van Daniel, that color I know. And another I do not, an unfamiliar but fearsome being. It's Xenos. I have kept you from your duty. By way of apology, I will ensure that the shades hinder you no more. Protect the final brand. Fare you well, my new old friend. Oh, Hythlodaeus, what a good boy. We met a simulacrum of Hythlodaeus in Emmett Selk's faked Amarat. He was the clerk at the Bureau of Designs, Bureau of Creations, Bureau of something, Bureau of, I don't know, he's in charge of creations, of concepts. Alright, lustrous dog, we got work to do. The dog growls, agitated. Cry havoc and let's slip the dog of war. That's you, by the way. We must protect the brand. Come on, boy. The dog nudges you with its nose. You get the feeling it wants you to hop on. Sally forth, dog! Away! The powerful leap, the dog takes flight!
In the nick of time, to savor the crowning triumph. Unbound and free at last. Arise, Zodiac! Deprived of heart and will by the loss of dearest Elidibus. A creature of pure instinct, wanting for guidance. But powerful, oh so powerful, more so with every passing moment. Such potential, even in this incomplete state. Still the savior who delivered a world from certain doom.
So, here we stand. You know my intent. Consume the god, then the world. Stoke your fury to a raging inferno, and dance among the ashes. Or perhaps you would face me here and now. A lesser but welcome amusement. Yes, a taste to whet the appetite.
Sorry to spoil the moment, but might I ask that you postpone the slaughter until I've said my piece? I promise I will be brief. Do you remember when I told you that I wanted to die and take everyone with me? I meant it.
Wasn't kidding about brief. We are the savior. We are the guardian, the keeper of natural order. We are the martyr, the bestower of new beginnings. We are
Such lofty aspirations! And what sweet irony that the world's saviors will become the agents of its destruction!
It cannot end this way. We must return and be made whole. We are the will of the star, now and forever. For the greater good, for the sake of the world.
Wrong! Lies and delusion! The dead have no power over me. You will be silent. Silent as the grave!
No more, we beg of you. The star must endure.
Believe and walk in faith. Let the light of your soul shine for all to see. Not quite the outcome you'd imagined, but a fitting one nonetheless. Don't you think so, Hades?
All I craved and more. Boundless power. Mine to command. I had intended to pit my fractured divinity against Xenos, but a more tempting option presents itself. The greatest obstacle to my ambition. You will trouble me no longer.
What's that? We're gonna fight Zodiark at level, what is this, 84? What's the rest of the story, you may ask? Boy, bet you can't wait to find. Unfortunately, I have to actually play with real people. This is one of the few. Oh, 83. Not even 84. Level 83 quest. We're fighting what we've assumed has been the root of all evil, but then later found out wasn't evil, but was kind of evil. And I'm gonna have to wait in a queue for this because unfortunately I can't do it alone. We get to listen to this fucking banging music and stare into the face of doom. Fucking God. I just remember I loved watching all of the reaction. Oh, wow, that was fast. Reaction videos of, oh shit, people being like, wait a minute, we're level 83! What do you mean? No, Mickey, I cannot do it alone. It's level 83 and I'm only 90. Yeah, I love that you just see that brief bit of Hythlodaeus. It only said 9 minutes. I mean, luckily I'm a tank. If I was a DPS, I'd probably have a harder time. But we fight evil god, but not evil god. You know, Heidelin's nemesis. Do a little wavy do.
Establishing connection. All creation shall
I haven't done this fight in a hot minute. I did Savage, or not Savage, Extreme for a little bit. I was pretty good at Extreme, so, you know, hopefully I don't fuck this up. Oh, the other guy doesn't want to tank. Guess it's me. I'm not doing countdown. Bye! I only have my hyper int macro.
The marvels of circus were but playthings.
Triangle. This is a tank buster. That's a rectangle. Oh god, I'm only level 90, right? Or I'm only level 84, I mean. Early rotation, disgusting.
Malice become
Alright. Yeah, this part. Nope, not yet. Okay, no rotation. Snacks.
Will you live to see the end?
God, I love this music so much. Alright, so we got a triangle. Plus me.
Soon my hold over Zodiark shall be complete!
Oh, I shouldn't have done that. Poop. Oh well.
Mine!
Yeah, I should not have hit, Requiescat, since this fucker's about to do a little cutscene. There goes the mask. Assuming control.
At last, I am become Zodiark!
now he's gonna do this really annoying thing where he spins the fucking platforms.
All in existence, bent to my will. My life's work, my masterpiece.
Got laser beams.
How I've waited for this day.
Diagonal dash. Bye, friends. Pew pew. Alright, we got snakes. What direction are we moving? We are moving this way, so this column will be safe. I believe. Could be very wrong.
Bent to my will.
Yeah, okay. I was right, you were wrong. Neener, neener. I used to be vaguely good at this fight.
Faithfully recreated.
No, come back.
From broken skies fall tears.
Alright. Here. And then we're safe here again. And then we move up.
Will you live to see the end?
This is New Game Plus, but I have to play with other people when it's an 8-man duty, unfortunately, of this level. Ugh, he's turning it the bad way again. I hate this. Should be.
All in existence, bent to my will. Will you live to see the end? I have no need for restraint.
Alright, we got triple triangle, probably. At least double triangle, yeah. This warrior has no idea what's happening. They're probably actually here for the first time. Yeah. Alright, we've got column 2.
All in existence, bent to my will. Will you live to see the end?
Triangle. Plus triple esoteric, right? Yeah, okay. That warrior's about to get in the mouth. You're all about to get in the mouth. Yup. Triangle. Oh, why did that happen? Somehow clicked in the left stick. Oh, bye, warrior.
Will you live to see the end?
What do I have for mitigation? Again. Oh, I super believe in you guys. Don't leave the butt wings, you idiots. This way, this way, this way. Danger bongos, danger bongos. Goodbye. Oh, they get an anti-knock back. Oh, I love that people still have trouble with this. It's always nice when new content stays, you know, people don't just blitz through it. Alright, we got the snakes in the rotation, so this would be color 1 is safe.
All in existence, bend to my will! Will you live to see the end?
Someone pops this. Reprisal. Okay, cool. Triangle. Triple. Whoa, warrior, what the fuck are you doing there, pal? You don't know the fight, why are you evoking?
Will you live to see the end?
I will Voke on cooldown if this guy wants to keep playing this game. I will out DPS him without any issues. Alright, let's call him 2.
All in existence, bend to my will! Will you live to see the end?
Cute Vokes, bud. You tried. You tried.
Is this the limit of your power? Is this how it ends?
Don't worry, Fan Daniel. It's not quite how it ends. We're only level 83. GG. I'm not calming that warrior. Quick, get the white mage before they leave. Okay. I only got 1 calm for that. Damn. Well done. My preparations are complete, and I stand ready to seal Zodiark once more. Withdraw now from this place. The teleporter will deliver you to safety.
Incomplete and insufficient. Of course he was no match. Once again, you have left my best laid plans in ruins. and played your role to perfection, thus sealing my victory. From the first, all I wanted was for you to kill Zodiac. 'Twas but one of many methods to achieve the desired effect. 'Twould have been the same had Xenos died in my place. But what better and more satisfying way to ensure success than to take control myself? My sole regret is that you live to tell the tale. Even so, I have fulfilled my heart's desire.
We done fucked up.
Your murder mark the beginning of the end. The coming of the final days.
Bye bye, Zodiac. He was a bad guy. This is a good thing, right? It's a good thing, right?
How quickly strength fades and blood cools. Old familiar sensations. So many lives, so many deaths. No different this. I close my eyes and slip into the dreamless slumber. A tired song and dance. Routine. Always I wake. But not this time. Nothing left unsaid. Nothing left undone. Inherit my hell. I intone with glee. The man I was would weep for what I have become. The all-consuming contempt. But I've the wisdom of 10 millennia to justify my answer to the question. No value in their existence. Not a whit. For all that I looked. None that I did see. A final chance, then, for Heidelin and her faithful. In Cataclysm, prove me wrong. I sneer.
What a fucking overdramatic
All shall
weirdo.
return to nothingness, as was your will, Emperor Sunday.
Fucking Fan Daniel.
The star, and every living being, consigned to your oblivion.
Mickey, do you remember this guy? Amon from the Crystal Tower raids? The man with the freakish hat? Since I know you haven't played this expansion because you hate nice things. And just like that, we done fucked up. Zodiac is super dead, which you'd think would be a good thing. But we have another 7 levels of gameplay to fill. So turns out, not a good thing.
At last.
Deep breaths, slow and steady. You saw it too, yes? The blue star below, thrown into turmoil. Then it was no illusion. All was truth. With the death of Zodiark, the laws of nature, I skipped the dialogue box with my touchpad. With the laws of death, with the death of Zodiark, the laws of nature over which he presided have begun to unravel. The final days are upon us. What you witnessed was an omen granted by the Echo, a vision of the horrors to come. Time grows short. But look who survived! Because we can't have enough of our best friend, Xenos. Bitch, I don't have time for this.
No. I'll find no fulfillment in a contest with you this day. Slavering beasts gather at your gates, ravenous and eager. Already you turn to them and away from me. I must go forth once more in search of power far beyond the might of Shinryu. Power to make your heart run over with rage. For the eldest of primals was a betrayal of promise. A pathetic creature incapable of inspiring true despair. That's what I crave. Pure, unadulterated despair.
I'll not fight for your amusement.
We shall see.
Oopsie daisy. I didn't mean it. I sense his presence on the moon no longer. You need not follow, then I beg you stay and listen to what I have to tell you. Zodiark, and the end of all things. Before we speak at length, I believe a change of surrounds is in order. I have more than ill tidings to share, you see. I sensed others arriving not long ago. Though my communions with Heidelin have grown infrequent, I have learned enough of her to know that these are your comrades. And as luck would have it, they've already reached my abode. Come, let us join them. Hey guys, so something happened while you were gone. Kinda not good. Thank goodness you are unharmed. We did what we could to subdue the Tempered before making our way here. Not without casualties, unfortunately. Some few detonated explosives, killing themselves and others. The contingent's healers had their hands full tending to the injured and enthralled when we took our leave. Lest you wonder, Mistress Kryl hath also been delivered unto their care. Serving as a conduit for Heidelin's power hath taken its toll, but she will recover in due course. As for Alfino and Alize, they insisted on remaining in Garlemald, while we three rushed to your aid. It appears, however, that matters have already come to a conclusion. But what matter of conclusion, if I might ask? And is this the ally whom Heidelin bade you seek out? He is not unlike the shades of Amarot. Not unlike, perhaps, but not the same. I was created by Heidelin, together with this place. It has ever been my duty to keep vigil over Zodiark. Or rather, it was my duty. Heh, oops. I took his job. And Zodiark is no more. And not without consequence, I am afraid, for now the delicate weave of the star, preserved by his presence, will begin to unravel. If you mean to avert the final days, you shall have need of... Are you all right? No. My attempts to forestall Zodiark's release have all but exhausted my strength. You might allow me to rest a short while. I will share with you all I can. Please do. You need not exert yourself on our account. These crystals contain records of your time here, yes? May we peruse them while we wait? By all means. If you would review them chronologically, might I suggest beginning at those on the upper floor? I shall leave that to you, Kinliana, while I see what can be gleaned from the crystals on these lower levels. As you gaze into the crystal, ancient knowledge of Zodiark flows through your mind. Daily summary, no abnormalities detected. Daily summary, no abnormalities detected. Daily summary, no abnormalities detected. These appear to be records of a long, lonely vigil on the moon, dating back to the beginning of Zodiark's imprisonment. You gaze into the crystal, knowledge of past calamities flows through your mind. The records describe how, with each rejoining, Zodiark's thirst for freedom grew, as did the strain on the brands. Maintaining Zodiark's imprisonment appears to tax Heidelin greatly. As you gaze into the crystal, knowledge of past rejoinings flows through your mind. The records describe the Watcher's efforts to prepare in the event Zodiark broke free from his prison. The records go on to describe maintenance carried out regularly with the Loperates, though it's not clear who or what they are. As you gaze into the crystal, a record of an unexpected visitor flows through your mind. The records note the Watcher's musings when Elidibus is spotted on the moon, though clearly not for the first time. It is clear he and his brethren have a keen interest in freeing Zodiark from his prison, and yet they've made no attempt to destroy the brands. Perhaps they prefer he remain hidden from mortal eyes until the final rejoining. Perhaps they realize we would never dare bring harm to Zodiark so long as he remains imprisoned. Did you learn anything of import? So it is as we suspected. Maintaining the brands requires a great deal of her energy and focus, and this cost has grown higher with every rejoining. That would explain my contact with her has become rather infrequent since the 7th Umbral Calamity. I too made a rather startling discovery. This heavenly body we know to be the moon was in fact created by Hydaelyn. When the Watcher said he was created together with this place, I thought he only meant this facility. Truly, Hydaelyn's power are far beyond anything I could have imagined. The moon! I thank you for affording me this short reprieve.
It is we who should thank you. The records stored here are nothing short of extraordinary. There is much we could learn of Zodiark and his imprisonment, but perhaps you could offer us more focused guidance. Pray, tell us of the calamity that came before and comes now again.
Lesson time. Long ago, before the Great Sundering, there was but a single world, Etheris. One day, from within the earth, a terrible cry issued forth, affecting a profound change in all manner of life. We were not exempt. Our creation magics ran rampant, giving shape and form to thoughts of hopelessness and despair. At first, the phenomenon was limited to a single region, but quickly, so very quickly, it spread and engulfed the whole of the star.
Were the ancients ever able to deduce its source?
They were not. However, the convocation struck upon a method to predict where the next the corruption would manifest. The etheric energies which flow through all of creation in the form of various currents. The currents which course through the land and seas. Those which flow through the very air. And those of a celestial nature, which encompass both our star and this moon.
Celestial currents. I cannot say I am familiar with the concept.
Nor would I expect you to be. Few scholars of our time knew of their existence. Their invaluable knowledge helped us to better understand the nature of the calamity. Like the terrestrial ones of earth and air, the celestial currents form a vast network, but the etherical distribution is not consistent. The convocation soon realized that the inciting incidents occurred at regions where the flow was weakest. Correlation without clear cause, ultimately. Nevertheless, on closer study, a stagnancy of ether was observed in nearby currents.
And so they sought a means to harness the forces of darkness, of activity and growth. Thus was Zodiac conceived. No less a power than a god's could set right the laws of nature and quicken the flow of ether within the star.
Precisely. With the advent of Zodiark, our end was averted.
Emmett Selk claimed that those who summoned Hydaelyn did so because they saw Zodiac's power as a threat. Is that true?
Indeed. There was a faction opposed to Zodiark's creation, but their aim was never to unmake him. They understood the continued preservation of the natural order was dependent on his very existence. Until we could identify and address the underlying cause of the final days, he would need remain, for his departure would set in motion those apocalyptic forces once more. Hydaelyn recognized this as well, and so rather than destroy, she sundered Zodiark, herself, and the star into lesser reflections, that she might confine him in this place. I could have sworn she beseeched me to banish the darkness. Perhaps she did, but as with all beings, intent is not always in accord with spoken word. Hydaelyn and Zodiark are both constructs of man, approximations of perfection limited by our own imperfections. Zodiark was, without question, the more powerful of the two, having been born from the sacrifice of half of Theros' population. Thus was it necessary for Hydaelyn to commit herself wholly to his defeat. Still more effort was needed to confine him. Maintaining the brands taxed her greatly. With what power she dared spare, she cried out to any who might listen, and offered her blessing to those who heeded her call. Though it was likely within her power to do so, I believe she did not wish to speak of Aetheris and her history. Like Zodiark, Hydaelyn's purpose is a reflection of her creators. They wish to look into the future and not linger in a prison of the past.
The Ascians set in motion 7 rejoinings before we came to oppose them. How many more worlds would have been lost had we not placed our faith in her? How many more souls living in the present would have been snuffed out for the sake of those long dead?
Well, in light of recent events, I see no reason to doubt your words. And even if Hydaelyn is not a god in truth, if Minfilia believed that we should trust in her plans, then I choose to do just that. Which brings me to a rather important question. Let's suppose we try but fail to stop this second coming of the final days. Should the source fall, what will become of the other worlds?
Nomenclature is more fitting than you know. Bring ruin to the source, and its reflections will share in its fate. All of our new friends on the first. I miss Reen. Reen was a good noodle. Ah, it is ready. This way, if you would be so kind. Dear Watcher, please speak English so I don't have to talk over you. Love, Twitch streamer. A beautiful sight, is it not?
Yes, but what is it?
Hydaelyn knew better than any that her power was not absolute. Indeed, she has ever struggled to hold Zodiark and his faithful at bay. She feared the worst, and so made preparations. In the event of his demise, there would be a contingency. This moon is more than a prison. It is a vessel, capable of bearing the people of Aetheris to safe harbor. You need not go far to find its pilots. In fact, I should be happy to take you to them and fulfill my final duty as Watcher in the Dark. The time has come for you to be on your way. The crater at the heart of Mare Lamentorum, where Zodiac was imprisoned, not so easily traversed, however. Let us call upon Argos, the familiar whom you met earlier. He should have no trouble bearing you across. As Hydaelyn created me as the jailer, so too did she create Argos as the guard. It is his nature to appear when needed, and yet he is nowhere to be found. Strange. Mayhap the imbalancing of ether has affected him. Let us make for the crushing brand and attempt to call upon him there. You need but recall the path you walked with Argos before, and you will find your way. If he labors in service of Hydaelyn's plan, I see no reason not to do as he suggests. Shall we make for this crushing brand, then? Could go past all of those fishermen again. Down here, something. They're not flown, but you know. Nope, never mind. That is in fact not the path. But you know. Yeah, this is the path. Close enough. Hello, fisher people. How goes fishing? The place we seek is just ahead at the Chlorophosgrot. You see, Argos cannot manifest without sufficient concentrations of ambient ether. You would be hard-pressed to find a greater confluence than inside this cavern. Follow me. Yes, here will do nicely. The lunar spongoi draw ether from the ground, which is then dispersed in the air. At present, however, the ambient energies are not quite sufficient for Argos to manifest. Might you be willing to spare some of your own to help the spongoi along? Time to help the sponges, the sponges, the sponges. Hello, sponges. Some ether. Bark, bark! Argos manifests in a flash. He seems glad to see you again. The most fascinating creation of Hydaelyn's, would you not agree? Should the need arise, he's even able to create reflections of himself on a whim. Though I assure you it is no reflection which accompanied you earlier to the brand. No, Argos was quite eager to be at your side then, as he is now, it seems. I cannot recall when he last showed such an affinity for anyone. Indeed, I thought him more likely to shy away from you and your companions. Perhaps it was more than a sense of duty that compelled him to aid you before. As for your companions... Bork, bork! Unexpected, but greatly appreciated. I believe we are all ready. Let us return outside, that you may cross the chasm. I can fly myself there, but I will humor Argos, goodest boy. Argos favors you with what could almost be described as a conspiratorial grin. Your destination is the structure there across the Cradle of Darkness, but climb onto Argos' back and he will take care of the rest. Once you arrive, it should not take long to find the ship's crew. The facility is designed to rouse them from their slumber in the event of Zodiark's destruction. Heed their counsel. Together, you may guide the star and its people to a kinder fate. This is where we part ways, but know that I shall ever be watching and praying for your success. Our allies' assurances notwithstanding, we cannot be certain what awaits us on the other side, so perhaps it would be best if we did not all go at once. I propose the two of us cross first, while Thancred and Urianger wait here. Onward. The malefic ether yet permeates from the crater, remnants of Zodiark most like. Just a little further. This structure is enormous, but that is hardly surprising given the size of the average Emirati. Apologies for the wait. Right then, let us head inside and... Oh? Most intriguing. The means by which he conserveth energy, mayhap. Well, I certainly wouldn't want him to blink out of existence on our account, helpful as he's been. Thank you, Argos. We'll take things from here. If Argos is to remain without, let us not keep him waiting over long. Hey, look, Argos. Argos, you're supposed to stay outside. No, you fool. Oh boy, howdy, here we go. This part of the moon. This part of the moon. Hey Mickey, if you're here, I hope Benson's watching, because Benson loves this part.
Here somewhere. Is that right?
Benson loves these moon bunnies.
Look lively, everyone! I know, this 1243rd inspection is a mite ahead of schedule, but it is of the utmost importance, for Zodiac, alas, is no more. As of now, our mighty moon has a new purpose: to bear the people of Aetheris to safety. Our time has come, my friends! We must be swifter than swift. There is much to do before our guests arrive. I expect your workstations to be immaculate, and don't forget to relay our signal to Aetheris. Questions? Yes? No? Maybe so? No? Then hop to it!
"'Tis a rather curious crew she hath chosen. Their endearing forms intended to ease the passengers' hearts, perhaps."
Perhaps.
Ingrid's in literal shock. Moon bunnies. Yeah, I think that fanfare is supposed to be reminiscent of the FF4 fanfare, since this is like FF War the Zone. They must be the Loporrits, mentioned in the Watcher's records. Not at all what I expected, but the Watcher did bid us heed their counsel. I assume the one who gave that rousing speech was their leader, though we might have to ask about in order to track them down. Come on then, let us be about it. Yeah, this is like the FF4 town theme, I think? Never beat 4. Need to. Started it 1,000 times. Hello, Chipper Loporrit. Yeah, that beeping noise is from 4. Leader of the crew? Not me, I'm afraid. Singing Ways by the name. I'm in charge of the construction and maintenance of the atmospheric circulation system. Only the crispest, cleanest air for the people of Aetheris, and that's a promise. Leader? No. Sleeping away. My job is... perhaps I'd better ask. How in the... When did you get here? Who let you in? Why wasn't I told? Were you the one giving orders earlier? Me? Oh yes, of course. And as the only one around here capable of doing anything properly, it falls to me to take charge of the others. Well, looks like you beat us here. Your friends, I take it? Is this all of them? A group comprised entirely of children? What must their parents be thinking? This isn't a nursery, after all, though perhaps we should build one. Or did we build one already? No matter, you needn't worry your pretty little heads. All will be well, I promise. But goodness me, we shouldn't be standing about gulping. I must take you to meet the others. You could run along back towards the entrance. You'll find a path that leads to the central platform on the upper floor. There's no wrong way to reach it, but it's the large glowing ball at the center if you should find yourselves lost. I shall gather the others and meet you there. Well then, back to the upper floors it is. Going up.
Right, of course. Introductions are in order. Ahem. My name is Livingway, and we are the Lotharites, created for the express purpose of commanding this ship and bearing the people of Atheris to a brave new world. More specifically, I am the one whom she charged with the execution of her most vital plans. You might say I'm her right paw. Livingway's the name, map reader and navigator of the heavens.
Pleasure to meet you all, but I'm still trying to make sense of this.
Confusion and bewilderment are completely understandable. Fear not, I shall walk you through it. The people of Atheris, through no fault of your own, I'm sure, set in motion a series of events that, unfortunately, culminated in Zodiac's obliteration. Acutely aware of the imminent crisis, your parents said to you little ones, on ahead while they began the necessary preparations. Still not following? No? Very well, I shall elaborate further. Here, we have Atheris, your home, and the moon, where we are now. Without Zodiac around to keep things lively, so to speak, the celestial currents of the star have doubtless begun to degrade. A calamity of apocalyptic proportions will be visited upon Atheris, bringing an end to all life. Very sad, that.
So too hath the Watcher claimed. By thine unperturbed countenance, I gather this eventuality was anticipated.
The doom and gloom. Oh yes, quite expected. Imagine, if you will, that Atheris is a delicious carrot that I've forgotten to eat and left out in the midday sun. The most earnest wishes or prayers will not stop it from rotting to the core. So sadly, there's nothing to be done but to abandon said carrot, Atheris, in case the metaphor is lost on you, to its grisly fate.
And this moon will serve as the vessel to deliver us to a new home.
Just so! We will gather up as many people, supplies, and resources as our stores will hold. And then, once everyone is aboard, it's off to another star. Easier said than done, admittedly, for one does not simply hop from star to star on a whim, which is precisely why we've spent countless years constructing the most propulsive of propulsion systems. We ought to make it to our destination in 2 shakes of a rabbit's tail.
Impressive technology. I dare say it is beyond anything we have ever seen.
No need to shower us with praise. All we've done is faithfully carry out the instructions left to us by Hydaelyn. Back in the old days, when she was still just Venar, she was dedicated to the study of the world and its inner workings. And the Watcher, the real one, not the simulacrum you met, was one of her fellow researchers. We and this wondrous vessel masquerading as a moon are products of their knowledge and know-how.
There's certainly more to you all than meets the eye. Might I ask where exactly you intend to take us?
We identified a few promising candidates for resettlement some time ago, but we cannot guarantee that they are fit for habitation. Moreover, the ship can only travel in short bursts. We intend to go down our list, hopping from star to star, until we find one suitable for resettlement. No need to worry, though. The vessel is being refurbished with accommodation for an extended stay as we speak. While we did have to rely upon outside help to determine what amenities were essential, I dare say we have risen to the challenge.
Help? From who?
From you and yours! Who else? Each time we woke to perform regularly scheduled maintenance, we were greeted by the resources you sent us. What better way to learn about preferences and proclivities of our present-day charges? Ah, but you're still adorable little children. Perhaps your elders were responsible for the deliveries.
I'm not sure what led you to conclude otherwise, but I can assure you that we are all grown men and women. And I very much doubt my elders know this place exists, much less how to send you so much as a starlight missive.
What? Then who in blazes let you on my moon? Hydaelyn herself led you here. You don't say! Well, that's really not children. Then why are you so small and stunted? Like little baby carrot people.
Well, Amarotines were a great deal taller. In the present day, persons of such prodigious size are exceedingly rare.
So, you're saying everyone's not like the Watcher? Oh, confound it all! Someone could have at least scribbled a note about your profound miniaturization.
That tome in thy possession.
Oh, this? One of the first books sent to us. A compendium of the people of Aetheris, with a few blank pages at the back for minor corrections and updates as needed. The sum total of our knowledge of your kind is contained in these pages. I thought it was abridged and made small for our benefit, but this isn't a regular-sized book, is it? Building way, can you hear me? Yes, we're all very busy. Change of plans. I need you to rebuild the domiciles at 1/3 the scale. All of them. Yes, all of them, and but me no buts. See to it with all speed.
Perhaps you could tell us a bit more about your terrestrial collaborators.
Yes, in due time. But first, I'd like to hear more about you, if it's all the same. I'd rather not risk any other complications due to outdated knowledge of our passengers-to-be.
No one thought to mention that, yup. Oh, Loporrits everywhere. Right then, now that you're here, we need you to teach us all you can about your people, and quickly. It won't be long before the final days are upon us, in all their terrible grandeur, so it's imperative that we be prepared to receive our passengers-to-be. there's anything at all that might displease them, it must be addressed post-haste. And address it we shall. Here at Best Way Burrows, we have assembled everything required to offer our guests the best way forward. We have produced myriad amenities that we understand to be essential for day-to-day living, and I wish to hear your opinions on them. I'm sure you've all worked up an appetite, so why don't we start with foodstuffs? Meet me at the Caratorium, and we'll see about filling your bellies. Let me know if the audio balance gets weird, because I've taken off my headset and it's now around my neck, so my mic is in a weird place. She does not want for enthusiasm. The notion of a Theris rotting to its core being a matter of course is rather concerning, though. Nevertheless, let us take this opportunity to learn more about the Loporrits and this vessel. Sweet. Yeah, no, my ears were getting annoyed, so it's just chilling around my neck and the microphone's like near my eye. Poor soul needed a resurrection, but they're far away and someone else has it. Look at the rainbow crystals. This area is really pretty. Like, meant to be weird, but it is a very pretty area. I question why there are killer rabbit bots, personally. Like, that is a little bit weird for, you know, like, living area, but yeah, whatever. Welcome to the Caratorium. Here we create prototypes of the various sundries required by our soon-to-be passengers. Allow me to introduce the head of foodstuff production. Cooking Way, pleasure to meet you all. Our work has involved no small amount of trial and error, but after many, many cycles of painstaking labor, I dare say we've created the finest cuisine our guests could ask for. I've learned all about the essential nutrients for a healthy and balanced diet from the reference material we received. Why, I have practically worn the words from those individual pages. Naturally, we've also considered ease of growth and production. We will not want for ingredients. I must insist you try some. We have a fresh stock recently prepared on account of, well, because we just woke up, and we're all quite famished. Hop along the platforms here, and you'll find a storage unit full to busting with delectable delights. Help yourself to anything you like. Yep. I love that these are clearly meant to be stairs for Emiratian-sized people. Oh, wow, they, unfortunate. The storage crate. You open the storage unit and find a rainbow-colored assortment of carrots. Do I take the unassuming orange, the peculiar-looking blue, the vibrant yellow, the ominous crimson, or run away? Let's see, I know I've had the crimson carrot before. Let's go with the yellow carrot. While it has no particular smell to speak of, the yellow variant is unusually light and springy. These qualities, together with its excessive length and girth, would lead anyone to question whether it is indeed a carrot. The yellow carrot! Girthy carrot. On second thought, you elect to simply take an obscenely large carrot for now. Due to its bizarre qualities, it would be prudent to ask Cooking Way whether it is safe to eat first. Wuss. You don't want to take the length and girthy yellow carrot? Weird. So, did any of our selections set your mouth to watering? An obscenely large carrot. Ah, yes, a fine choice. One of my personal favorites, actually. Please, dig in. I'm eager to hear what you think. Great trepidation, you take a bite out of the carrot. You snap off a piece of the carrot, enjoying its crunchy texture. Righteous confidence surges within you, and certainty that you are the center of the universe, that all creation is a story, and you the star, beloved and perfect and special, a god worthy of worship and prayer, or at the very least a second roll that should the dice treat you poorly. Wow. The lucky carrot. I am a god! What did you think? Unlike anything you've ever tasted, yes? The Lucky Carrot is, well, to be honest, we're not quite sure how it was first made. A happy accident, you might say. But as name suggests, after eating one, you feel blessed with good fortune. We have plenty of other varieties too. Bleeding carrots to improve blood flow, dream carrots to help with sleep. So you see, we have a carrot for every occasion. But what if I don't like carrots? You don't like carrots? Oh, you must mean you don't like them served in this fashion. Worry not, we have pureed versions on hand if you haven't the time to chew. I take it you too had a wide assortment of carrots to choose from and naught else? I may ask, what exactly did these collaborators share about the cuisine on Atheris? Surely you are aware that we have an abundance of dishes and foods you could emulate. Of course we are, but, well, it was only quite recently that we established contact. Even holding a conversation was a struggle at first, so imagine our surprise when they sent a mountain of books and documents with no clear instructions. The sheer amount of information was overwhelming. If it wasn't for that encyclopedia I found, we would have been at a loss where to begin. And so we decided, rather than divide our resources to prepare a variety of middling and potentially unsatisfying meals, it would be more efficient to devote our efforts to the production of a single, perfect food. That's all well and good, but man cannot live on raw carrots alone. You considered cooking them? You mean steaming, boiling, roasting, and the like? I suppose we could prepare the carrots in other ways, but our primary concern was efficiency. What's more efficient than sinking your teeth into a carrot fresh from production? A rather strange approach for the take of one named Cooking Way, isn't it? Well, technically speaking, Cooking Way isn't my given name. When first created, we were all named in the old tongue. You know, that otherwise impenetrable parlance the Watcher speaks. After we received a great tome of words, a dictionary that is, from our collaborators, we learned your language. Adverbs, gerunds, present continuous verb conjugations, just the basics. Then we found the terms related to our given tasks and used them to form new names. Aren't they helpful? No, not really, but it does explain a great deal. Wherefore didst thy kind deem such a change necessary? Well, when the rest of your people arrive, we want to be certain they understand immediately what each of us does. You'd never be able to pronounce our original names anyway. See. I hope our critiques, such as they are, were helpful to you. Though, if you should decide to preserve flora and fauna from Atheris as well, you would be able to offer the passengers a more balanced diet. Until such a day, I pray comes sooner than later, it would appear there is naught but carrots on the menu. Carrots from the moon. Carrots from the moon. I think we've had our fill of carrots for now. Let's move on to other necessities, shall we? Our clothing production is sure to impress. This way. Oh, the clothing section. Oh, the moon. This whole part. It's cute. It's a little slow, but considering we just defeated God, I think a little slowness was probably needed. A little bit of chill out. Here we are, the apparel production station. We've chosen to employ more traditional methods for this task, creation magics. Eidolon, in her infinite wisdom, blessed us with the selfsame affinity for magic her people possessed. We have other amazing talents, of course, and I know you're dying to hear about them, but I will regale you with the details another time. That said, we did run into a spot of trouble at first. Our magic alone was not sufficient to see our work done. In the end, we discovered crystallized ether was a wonderful catalyst that could provide us with the extra viz we need. My, how resourceful. Ah, the sweet sound of recognition! You will also be impressed to hear that we've read all about your habit of changing attire to match the chosen profession. For the sake of efficiency, I presume? That has also been taken into account with our designs. Well, why take my word for it when you can simply try on our clothes? Make yourselves known to the workers and they will see to the rest. Ah, it's you! One of the visitors from Atheris. Goodness me, Mappingway wasn't kidding. You really are smaller than the Watcher. Oh, right, you're here to try on a set of clothes, yes? What would you have me fashion for you today? An outfit that embodies my bloodlust. How about, something simple yet functional? Simple and functional, right. This will only take a moment. There we are, all finished. A perfect fit, if I do say so myself. Nothing too billowy or frilly, as you can see, also light and durable, sure to serve you well wherever your travels might take you. Would you look at that? Speechless, and there I thought you may not like it. As you've a mind to try something else, why not speak with my fellow artisans? I'm sure they'd be happy to oblige. You must continue wearing these garments in order to progress. You must remain hideous. Look at me. Oh my god, I didn't notice there's like pants under a skirt, under a dress. With fucking shoes. Oh, beautiful. I'm gorgeous. Wait, are those like... Oh, those are like boots. Those are like Uggs. I'm wearing Uggs. Oh, I love it. No one said you'd be coming. How can I help you? You wish to try the clothes? Really? Of course, it would be my honor. Did you have anything in mind? Well, got anything with a little more flair? I think I can handle that. Let's see. This should do it. Cheetah print. Some of my best work yet. Times and tastes truly have changed. It used to be so rare for anyone to request clothing with a focus on form over function. Thankfully, I had a spare concept for robes made using a different fabric. I think it looks rather fetching. I was just worried how the concept would turn out when put to proof, but it looks stunning on you. Won't you go show Livingway? I'm sure she's eager to see what we've come up with. Now we've got some hideous glove things, and are we still wearing Uggs? But they're black. Yeah, they're like black Uggs now instead of the red Uggs. My knees. Beautiful. All the ladies want me. I have to go grab some water soon. My Livingway voice is hurting my throat. Too much excitement. Too much happiness. My, don't we look splendid? The result of much trial and error, but I know quality work when I see it. Shh, you needn't speak. I can see your adoration for the moon and we lopperets in your eyes. No doubt your friends feel the same, having sampled our creations. It's fucking creepy. Oh, Oriange, you lady killer. Sorry to have kept you waiting. They insisted we sample all of their concepts ere we returned. Verily, 'tis an ensemble most becoming. Oh, worry. Ellipses. I think it's past time we returned these clothes. I was so confident our garments would meet with your approval. Whatever were we doing wrong? The Watcher taught us that, in his time, everyone wore the same robes. To do otherwise was against social etiquette. We thought we could appeal to modern tastes by tailoring the robes to specific professions, but... Please, you mustn't be so hard on yourself. Should we resort to evacuating the people of Atheris, they will most certainly have need of your attire. It's clear you spared no effort in addressing our needs, but you must understand that we are not quite so... homogeneous. Speaking for myself, what I wear now better suits my tastes, even if it is of inferior make. But there are others whose choices may be influenced by traditions or personal experience. Rather than make assumptions for the whole, you must consider the individual and their potential preferences. I fear we've underestimated the complexity and diversity of your people. Even if we'd memorized every tome we received, I doubt we'd have fared much better. Maybe we're doing you a disservice trying to shower you with our baubles and frippery, thinking it was up to your benefit, when you'd be better off on your own. There are some who might agree. People who prefer to keep others at arm's length, even when they know they shouldn't. As one such form of fool, I'd like to ask you a question. It was planned to evacuate and escape the final days. Did it account for the reflections of the source as well? Not that I'm aware of. We were born of Hydaelyn's love for Atheris, and the salvation of the people of on that star and that star alone has ever been our aim. Surely it's better to devote ourselves to saving one world than to divide our effort across 14 and risk failing them all. I suppose you're right. Livingway, might we leave to explore Bestaway Burrows unattended? You have given us much to think about. Why, certainly. Until later, then. If I may, I should like to accompany thee a while longer. Really? I mean, you're more than welcome to. There was actually something I wish to speak with you about. Let us be off then, shall we? My apologies. I wasn't trying to spy or anything. Everyone's been talking about the visitors come from Atheris, and I wanted to see what all the fuss was about. I was excited at first, but now I'm worried. What if the people of Atheris refuse to come? What if we can't save them? Oh, it's clear we've made a mess of things. Oh, but wait, you still haven't visited the domiciles. Once you see them, you'll understand how wonderful the moon truly is. I'm sure of it. I'll be waiting for you by the teleporter near the entrance. Oh, and the name's Growing Way, by the way. See you soon. Nope. That's not the mount button. Moon bunnies, moon bunnies. You're here. You're really here. Thank you. Thank you so much. Sorry, what should I call you? Kinliana Ironhide, eh? Cracky, even your names are amazing. Well, Kinliana, we'll be using this teleporter to enter the residential area. Whenever you're ready.
Ready in the teleporter. access to living quarters restricted due to reconstruction. Then where is it? Oh no!
A private audience, as thou didst request, for reasons I know not.
Just a precaution. I'd rather I didn't have to ask the question at all, but I take my responsibilities very, very seriously. Do you and your friends, by any chance, find our accommodation wanting? Be honest, brutally even.
'Twould be ungracious of me to belittle the efforts of thee and thine.
Lovely sentiment, really. But the disappointment is writ plain on your comrades' faces. It's all the more frustrating since no one will come out and say what they find wanting. If there are faults in our work, we need to know. We will do better. But time is not on our side. The final days will wait for no one. If your people are to be saved, we must take quick and decisive action. This vessel must serve as a home for as many passengers as possible, for far longer than we may like. Which brings me to my request. Our collaborators on Atheris are doing what they can to prepare for the voyage. Would you be willing to go and lend them a hand? Having seen the moon for yourself, you could speak to its many splendors, learn what else they might require, and assuage whatever concerns they have.
Wherefore wouldst thou entrust me with such a task?
How to put it? You're the only one who appears not to be wholly unsatisfied with our work. Oh, quite good at pretending that's the case, at least. Calm, collected, tactful to a fault. Very particular with your words, too. You understand that, in the face of great danger, one cannot pursue perfection at the expense of practicality. The difficult choices must often be made for the greater good.
And so fate doth conspire to set my feet upon this path once more.
Come again?
Idle musings. 'Tis no trifle thou dost ask, yet full well do I understand the urgency and necessity.
Oh, dear me! Dear me! I was terribly sorry for the mix-up. It's a bit of a malfunction. I hadn't realized the residential quarters were inaccessible, you see. But you're still in one piece. So, all's well that ends well, yes? Won't happen again. I promise.
Briange acting suspicious. Gosh, that was embarrassing. I promise to be more careful from now on. Since the residential quarters are closed for now, I've rerouted the teleporter to allow you to travel between floors instead. Hopefully it proves useful in the meantime. A shame you couldn't see it, though. You really would have liked it. May not seem like it, but we've been planning this for far longer than I'd care to admit. Each time we woke up, we'd have long discussions about how to save as many of you as we can. Felt like everyone had an opinion on this or that. But the one thing we all agreed upon was that the people of Atheris wouldn't take action to save themselves until it was far too late. That's why we're striving to make the moon a vibrant, magical place that hop the chance to visit, rather than waiting for the flames of oblivion to get them off their tails and force them to accept our invitation. The residential quarters may not be up to the necessary standards just yet, but there are plenty of other places worth seeing. You've already had a look at the Caratorium, but wait until you see what's waiting for you at the east end of the borough. Follow me. I will be right back. I'm going to run to the restroom, grab some water, and we'll continue exploring the moon. Alright, moon bunnies, let's go. Seen the Caratorium, but what's over here in Great Endsvale? Good, you're here. Through this door is Greatest Endsvale. It was named as such because the veil, it's the veil to end all veils, the most beautiful forest you'll ever see. We understand that people of Atheris enjoy taking leisurely walks through natural spaces and the like, so I'm sure you'll enjoy it. How about we start with a nice stroll to the fountain? This way. Don't know who this person is. Hello, random stranger. Alright, a stroll to the fountain through this natural space. Natural. Very natural. Everybody act natural. I see you over there. More natural than that. Think rainbows. Crystals. I think there's a nice path. Strolling on through. Dude, I fished a lot in this area. Don't worry, Growing Way. I did a lot. I think I basically got my fisher to 90 on the moon in this pond. But what do you think of the forest? Isn't it positively pleasant? Simply sublime? I didn't see any Wait. You don't mean those crystals out there are... Right you are. Our forest is made of crystals and constructs, dotting the landscape as far as the eye can see. Building this place was a challenge, let me tell you. Since we were born here, we've never seen trees in person before, let alone a forest. The information sent by our collaborators was quite enlightening, but after much deliberation, we decided to use crystalline constructs in place of living trees. And thanks to our atmospheric circulation system, this place produces air as clean as you'd find in a forest on Aetheris. The fountain here, behind us, is powered by a rather large crystal adorning its top, plays a vital role in supplying us with fresh water. Much time and effort was spent making it the most spherical of spheres, and I dare say the unparalleled roundness speaks for itself. I enjoy nothing more than a nice long stretch and a spot of relaxation whenever I come up here. You look like you could do with a stretch yourself. What's that? Video game wants me to use an emote at Growing Way, slash stretch in the chat, boys and girls. Big stretch. That's the spirit. I feel more relaxed simply watching you. A sight worth the many years spent building this place. There's not too much to ask. It's always been a dream of mine to take a walk through this forest with someone from Aetheris. Could we maybe... You will? Oh, be still my quivering whiskers. Alright, Growing Way, let's go through a stroll in your forest. Look at this. Alright, I'm gonna go to the bonus dialogue. Everyone loves a good bout of bonus dialogue. Back in my day, they weren't on the map. You had to look for the bonus dialogue yourself. What? No, I'm not sure what it is you do with crystals on Aetheris, but we don't eat them. And certainly not this one. It's possessed of all 6 elements. Wind, lightning, fire, earth, ice, and water. We use crystals like these to maintain the moon's elemental equilibrium. Worth mentioning, though, that because of Hydaelyn's influence, being the embodiment of tranquility and stasis and all, manipulating the elements here is different than it might be on Aetheris. Conjuring a fire would sooner dry your clothes than singe them, for example. Put simply, the etheric conditions are ill-suited for growth, which is why the surface is mostly barren. Of course, this was all necessary to keep the raging energies of Zodiark in check. What's the question? If you can taste the rainbow crystal. Taste the rainbow. Nice Skittles joke. You did it, Squeenix. I was thinking, Kinliana, that I could be more helpful to you by teaching you a little more about the moon and what it is we do. When we were first created, the moon's sole purpose was to hold Zodiark, and there was absolutely nothing to be found here. Eventually, Hydaelyn gave us our first task: furnish the moon with propulsion system capable of facilitating travel to other stars. Sounds impressive, and I suppose in some respects it is, but it was only possible thanks to all the knowledge Hydaelyn shared with us. We also had a lot of time to get it done, 6,000 years give or take. But anyway, let's keep going. This may come as a surprise, but we didn't begin building the habitable areas until after the propulsion systems were ready. Considering how long it took, I wish we'd started sooner. Who would have thought we'd need 4,000 years to make all this? It certainly wasn't work you dare rush, either. We had to create infrastructure and countless supporting systems, some of which wouldn't be operational until hundreds of years later. Then there was the brief period where our productivity came to a screeching halt, when that bizarre red satellite was sent up from Aetheris. The Allagan's mischief, I think. We thought maybe some new nefarious actor was colluding with Zodiark. All we could do was stand by and brace ourselves for the worst. I can't tell you how relieved we were when Hydaelyn informed us of its destruction. Oh yes, there was much joyous humming that day. Yalamoon. Say, do you notice anything peculiar about the treetops? I mean, apart from the fact they're massive crystals and not trees. I'll give you a hint. It's the golden rings emanating from the glowing spheres. Along with the device fixated near the ceiling, they fulfill a role similar to our sun, and do so better even. The sun and similar celestial objects in the great expanse radiate energy that is harmful to your bodies. These rings shield you from that energy while allowing you to bathe in the perfect amount of sunlight. or rather a close approximation of it. Pretty impressive, wouldn't you say? Oh, and if you look closely, you'll see different types of trees have ever so different curvature. Yes, indeed, this forest truly is the greatest. Oh, Growing Way, you precious little lad. There's something else I wanted to tell you about. Oh, right. The propulsion system and habitat facilities were completed around 2,000 years ago, and with that, the most important features were fit for purpose. Which is all well and good, except we still know absolutely nothing about the present-day people of Atheris. Why not go in and visit Atheris yourself, you may ask? Strictly forbidden. Were our technology or knowledge of the moon's true purpose exploited for evil ends, the result could be disastrous. Then there were a few more rejoinings, and it became increasingly difficult to converse with Hydaelyn. Fearful we might lose the ability to communicate with her altogether, we beseeched her to find people on Atheris we could trust to help. We were quite fortunate everything worked out as it did. But who were these mysterious compatriots? We still don't know. It's a mystery! Whoa! With the exception of routine inspections and maintenance, we remained asleep and waited, hopeful Hydaelyn would find someone who would help us. Eventually she did, and though her power was waning, we were able to speak to them directly for a short while. We shared with them everything we could, including our knowledge of the heavens and a means to travel here to the moon. They certainly didn't waste any time with what we taught them. No more than a few years after that, our collaborators found a means to convey messages and supplies to us from down below. All letters, books, and other resources they sent, we learned enough to start making more meaningful changes to the moon. But now that you're here, hopefully enjoying yourself as much as I am, I knew you'd like Greatest Ensvel, I knew it. Thank you again for coming here. By the way, I know it was just a walk through the forest, but it meant a lot to me. There you are. I take it you've already received the Grand Tour. A shame we missed it. Growing Way, I've been looking all over for you. Oh, is this about the teleporter to the residential area? No, never mind that. We have more pressing matters at hand. I will be calling an emergency meeting shortly, and your attendance is required. Really? I can't imagine what you need me there, but if you insist. We won't be long away, so you are all more than welcome to continue looking around the barrow. Now, come along, Growing Way. Before we arrived, you seemed to be in the midst of a rousing conversation with your guide. Did you learn anything of import? That they think these rainbow things are trees. Yikes. They spent 12,000 years preparing for this. With the appointed hour fast approaching, I can certainly understand their restlessness. Still, it remains to be seen if the people can be persuaded to evacuate when there are yet no signs of the final days. What's more, the technology of this place defies imagination. I doubt there are many who would readily come to terms with living in such surroundings. Whoever these collaborators are, unless they are possessed of the world's most charming personalities or a means to forcibly evacuate people, they will be met with a great deal of resistance. Indeed, even if faced with annihilation, the decision to forsake all one knows cannot be made lightly. Forgive me, friends, but I must beg your leave. There is another matter which yet begs for mine attention. Of course, we can accompany you if you'd like. Nay, that will not be necessary, if you'll excuse me. Oriange acting suspicious! Bitch about to betray us again? He never betrayed us the first time. But still. It's clear now that difficult decisions lie ahead of us. Preparation for the evacuation of Atheris is indeed crucial, but I am not yet willing to forsake our world and its reflections, and I trust I am not alone in my reticence. Did Oriange seem strange to you? More so than usual, I mean. I know he has a penchant for keeping his own counsel, but I'd be lying if I said I wasn't worried. Would you go and see if he's alright? Y'shtola and I will remain here and see what else we can learn about the final days. Hurry, perhaps you can catch up to him. What's that? Is it time for Endstalker Round 2? You bet it is. Who doesn't love stealth missions? A ninja minus being a ninja. Fucking stealthy. Wake up, Stratastar, we're out of bestest way barrows. No, we're not. We're still here, unfortunately. We're out of the tree section. Yeah, no, this is a slow section. It was almost kind of like needed slow, like I said, after we just fucking killed God, but a little too slow. Ryanje appears to be heading towards the entrance to Bestway's burrow. You're here in time for Endstalker. Who doesn't love a good rousing round of Endstalker? Oh boy. Can't wait to get caught at the end just like I did with that fucking girl. I don't think I've ever failed this one. I had failed the girls one before though. That bitch. Linnea? Linnea. It's be really awkward if I forgot her name. Oriange ventures off into Mare Lamentorum for reasons unknown. You must tread carefully, else he might sense your presence. And stalking. You tell I'm starting to lose my mind. Follow from a safe distance. Fuck up! Hi Argos, I'm going to hide with you. Hello Argos. Don't tell him I am here. Secreties. Must remember. You got to turn around. Nope, yep. I was like, he's about to fucking... You know what? I'm gonna go to that other rock and he's gonna catch me. Don't see me. Above the fucking rock. Don't look at me, Oriange. See nothing. I think I have to hide behind this one to the right. Maybe not, actually. He might line it right up to the top now. Yeah, he does. Okay. Yeah, this one's not near as bad as that one in Garlemald. One in Garlemald's way longer and way more open. Oriange, what are you doing? You're being suspicious. Why are you being suspicious?
Thine arrival is timely as ever. Thou didst chance to overhear my conversation with Living Way, I presume? 'Twas not mine intent to move in shadow. Nevertheless, I have been asked to do that and more yet again. Is it so plain that these strangers could intuit it at a glance? My capacity for silence and secrecy and duplicity.
Everyone knows you're a real good liar, Oriange.
Did contrive to deliver the first at the price of his own life. I was complicit in the scheme. A sacrifice averted for a mercy. Would that I could say the same for Minfilia. One life for one world. And by that bloody bargain, brokered by my hand, were the scions robbed of a dear comrade, and Flamine her beloved daughter. Two souls, whose selflessness was beyond measure, whose resolve was unshakable. They would not be moved even had I thought to protest. But protest I did not. Far from it. I pushed them forward. No effort did I make to seek out alternatives, ones that would not demand such terrible costs. That resignation weigheth heavy on my mind, as does the memory of another lost to mine inaction. Dearest Moonbringer, who did face death unflinching, that we might secure a means to bring low the Ascians. In her hour of need, I did naught. Dutiful disciple of Louisoix, ever looking to the greater good. Had I shut mine eyes and bid her live instead, mayhap she would be with us today. Selfish wants, born of everlasting regrets. Most days I put them from my mind, but could think of naught else when asked to swallow the same bitter draught. Subterfuge and sacrifice. Mayhap the right moral choice, but one I regard with great trepidation. The calamity of Amarot was a tragedy beyond reckoning, one which must never again come to pass. Thus must we struggle, haunted by ghosts of those we have lost, clinging to those we pray we can yet save. But what of those we cannot? How do we make peace with the dreadful algebra of necessity?
Faith in yourself and your decisions. Take heart and protect well those you can.
Sage counsel indeed. I see. Wisdom as befits a great worm. Curious that he should think thee in need of such encouragement. Strange. Scarcely can I remember when last we spoke alone, and so candidly. I thank thee. For all my supposed skill with words, I find it difficult to express such private thoughts. As for the Loporrit's proposition, I will take time and consider how to respond. 'Twould be to our mutual benefit if we could converse more openly with our aspiring caretakers. A concern I should be glad to address on the Scion's behalf. To dispense with all pretense and bare one's heart to another is a frightening thing indeed. But we cannot move forward ere we take that bold first step. A lesson I have learned many times before. And today.
Oh, Oriange, look at that character growth.
What are they saying? Curse these ears! I've heard bugger all! No matter. We've got our plans.
Are the moon bunnies evil? Evil moon bunnies. Hey, we don't know. I could be right. In truth, my reason for traveling hither was to effect a plan of mine own. A plan which may pave a way forward for us all. May, I say, for there's no guarantee of success. 'Tis the reason I set out alone, that failure should it come would be mine alone to bear. Yet thou standest before me with proffered hand and open heart. It would be remiss of me to refuse thy amity, and so I ask, wilt thou join in mine endeavor? See, it's Urianger, so like every word that comes out of his mouth it's a lot, Stratastar, but at the same time, like, it hurts how much he feels bad about Moonbrita and what happened to her. Is that a hunt monster? Kind of curious. There's like a hunt train in here, definitely. No, okay, that's a regular monster. It like just looked huge for some reason. It hurts how much he blames himself for Moonbrita's death when there's literally nothing he could have done. Like, Moonbrita got killed by Elidibus, right? No, the one who kidnapped Minfilia. Fucking dickhead's name. What's Dickface's name? Nabrialis. Yeah, fucking... There was nothing he could have done. I thank thee for accompanying me. It is a simple plan, in truth. We shall not be long away from Bestway's burrow. Difficult decisions must need be made in the coming days, but I nevertheless believe we are all of one mind in our desire to save the people of Atheris. To make clear our resolve to the Loperates, I would offer them a gift, but its making doth require a most singular ingredient. Dude, yes, Stratastar, they just blindsided us with that fucking cutscene. It's like, that scene has been literally how many years in the making now? Like, shit, and they just busted it out and made us all cry like babies. If anyone said they didn't cry, they're a liar. An abundance of Spungoi. Excellent. I chanced to spy this aggregation when crossing Zodiark's erstwhile prison. Using a spell taught to me by the Numo, I believe these shall suffice for the gift I would fashion. The magic requireth considerable concentration, however. Might I prevail upon thee to stand watch whilst I perform the incantation? Killer of the moon creatures. And I think I'm interested to eventually navigate Urianger's relationship, or Kinliana's relationship with Urianger. Just because, I don't know if I've talked about it much on stream, but as a whole, Kin was in love with Minfilia. So for his part that he played in sending her away, I'm pretty sure she resents him for a good part of Heaven's Ward and Stormblood before, like, probably reconciling with him a little bit in Shadowbringers and then further into Endwalker. And, again, someday I'll write more, but god fucking damn it. Someday I'll write more. And I want to explore that a little bit. Surveying the nearby area, you see no sign of potential threats. This would be a good opportunity to see how Urianger is faring. Ellipses. Urianger remained fixated on his work. Fuckers are trying to get me to play Monster Hunter, so if there are a bunch of pings going off, it's because they want me to play Monster Hunter. There, it is done. Oh, no, never mind. This is Benson telling me that he hates all the moon bunnies except for Pudding Way. A magic ink. Every ons is efficacious. Efficacious? Efficacious? That's a word, and I know I should know how to pronounce it, and I don't. Fucking Urianger, speak English. Magic ink. Everyone's as efficacious as that crafted by the Numo. Rare is the occasion I would conjure mine own, but it is nevertheless a most useful skill. The resulting product is, admittedly, possessed of no preternatural properties, but its hue is one of mine own choosing, which I pray the Loporrits will appreciate. Ileana, Urianger! Oh, thank goodness! I thought you'd been eaten, or perhaps had fallen into a crater. Y'shtola has been looking all over for you, Kinliana. She says she needs to speak with you about something most urgent. Dire, even. She's also quite clear that she wishes to speak with Kinliana alone, which means I'm afraid you must stay behind, Urianger. But worry not, it just so happens we need your help with an errand, delivering a package from the Watcher's Place to Bestoway's Burrow. It's quite large and heavy, perhaps even too heavy for we poor Loporrits. We would be ever so grateful if you could lend us a hand. How about an extra pair of hands before I go and meet with Y'shtola? No, that won't be necessary. Urianger's help should more than suffice. And I'm sure you don't want to risk getting on Y'shtola's bad side by keeping her waiting. She seems prickly. Now, off with you. Worry not, Kinliana. I shan't be long. How very convenient that Urianger is the only one needed by these clearly villainous bunny rabbits. I can drift along in my magical chair. I need to craft the magical bed. I think I bought this chair. I really shouldn't have. I should have crafted it my own hands. Oh, Kinliana, we thought you would be away for far longer. You needed to see me, didn't you? A dire emergency. I said no such thing. But as you are here, I could use your assistance with one small matter. Runningway, a companion of Growingway's, apparently has much to tell us of the final days. The problem, however, is that he is determined to live up to his name, refusing to stay still long enough for us to hold a conversation. Is there anywhere he's likely to stop and rest? Or perhaps there's a way to slow him down? What's the rush? I was thinking we could wait here, maybe enjoy a cold mug of carrot juice and... No? Well, if it's really that important, you could try using these balls of moose flesh, not to be confused with the other thing. Runningway's other notable feature is his incessant chatter, so you'll have no trouble finding him in a crowd, and when you do, try lobbing your balls at him. Koji Fox had a field day with this quest, and we all know it. Crude, but if it proves effective... He was here in the Greatest Endsvale when last I saw him. Let us split up and find him. Just hit him in the face with your balls. Renix does not condone hitting rabbits in the face with your balls. Of moose flesh. Alright, where the fuck's running away? Where are you at, running boy? There you are. Oh, I missed again. Stop missing. Oh, I don't... Oh, that's smarts. If this was meant to be a joke, it isn't funny. Yes, I'm running away. You mind explaining to me why you hit me in the face with your balls of moose flesh? Like, I'm a woman, I don't have balls. I'm highly knowledgeable about the final days? That's the most ridiculous thing I've heard since I woke up. Who told you that joke? As if we've got time to look into the final days when there's so much to do before the Great Voyage. It's true that Hydaelyn did impart us some knowledge of the event, but I know about as much as any other Loporrit around here. Less, probably. I don't know why anyone would think it's funny to go around telling people I'm an expert, but I better hope I don't get my paws on them. Sorry I couldn't be more help, but if there's anything else, I've work to do. And I'm off! Pretty suspicious. That's not the mount button. My double taps are not going through. Oh, I was supposed to plug this in like 6 years ago. I'll do that now, huh? Power to the controller. I could find neither hide nor hair of him. How did you fare? Well, I hit him with a ball of moose flesh, and he didn't know shit. So, he knows no more than the others. Care to explain yourself, Growing Way? Well, you see, I misremembered. That's it, I misremembered. Terribly sorry about that. Afraid I'm drawing a blank, though. Try as I might, I can't remember who I was thinking of. On an unrelated note, what of Orianger? I assume you spoke with him earlier, but did he say when he'll be returning? On his way to the Watcher's Palace with Livingway. Between Growingway's sudden lapse in memory and our lack of other leads, maybe our time would be better spent lending Orianger a hand. What? Now hold on a moment. It's all coming back to me. Yes, I remember. The information you're looking for is in the archives. Yes, that's where you'll find all sorts of useful knowledge, including that pertaining to the final days. Yes, now he remembers. Now he member. Oh, what to do? I promised Livingway I would help, but... No, I promised I'd help, so that's what I'll do. The archives are on the second floor of the main plaza, the eastern wing. Follow me. I suspect the Loperates are up to something, but if there's aught to be learned of the final days, I think it best we play along. For now, at least. Six-legged horse. Go, my six-legged beast, go. Like... off-putting, but then like when it's moving, it just like the front legs kind of move together, so you don't really notice it as much. Up, 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 and away we go on my six-legged horse. The archives are right through this door, but it seems to be locked. I guess we'll just have to go and find whoever has the key. Growing Way, enough. If you have naught else to tell us of the final days, you need only say so. We can ill afford to be wasting time here, as you well know. Did you yourselves not tell us we must act quickly? Yes, we did, but... The moon was to be perfect paradise for the people of Atheris, and we're running out of time to make everything ready for their arrival. We'd hope you'd see the wonders we have to offer, but you found nothing but faults and flaws in our work. Only one of you saw our potential, so you others must be kept here. Ah, so that's Livingway's game. Run us around in circles, and failing that, lock us away so we can't put the plan at risk. Everyone except Orianger. He understands what is at stake, what must be done. I fear you've misjudged us, Growingway. Never have we decried the notion of using the moon as a means of escape. That said, my heart breaks at the thought of abandoning Atheris and her reflections to their doom. If there is a way to avert the final days, I wish to find it. We all do. We may fail, but our efforts would never have been at the expense of your plans. But why would you take the risk? There's no room for ifs and maybes now. The people of Atheris will escape here to the moon. They'll be safe, and we'll finally get to see all their happy, smiling faces. I'm sorry, but we can't let you leave. We just can't. Do what you must, but try not to hurt them. I'll be back in a moment. Don't do anything rash while I'm gone. Now the bunnies are attacking! We dally. They'll overwhelm us with sheer numbers. I say we knock these ones out, split up, and make our way to the exit. Agreed. Let us reconvene where Argos awaits outside. Fight in moon bunnies, because they're trying to kidnap us. You are under attack! Carrot and ruin. Fire and moonstone. Cute. As slow as this section of the moon is, I do like that the moon plays out and you don't really come back to it. Like, it's a really unique section, but then, like, there's not really much more here, which some zones, like, they overstay their welcome a little bit. The moon doesn't, which I do like a lot. Good, you're here. We must hurry to the Watcher's Palace and find Urianger.
And what, pray tell, do we seek at the Watcher's Palace?
Oh, come off it, friend. You know full well why we're here. The time has come for you to return to Aetheris and help your brethren prepare for their journey here and beyond.
Forgive me, Living Way, but I cannot in good conscience proceed with this plan.
Huh? But what about the final days? The death and the doom? Oh, we have to hurry before it's too late.
Your unflagging commitment to your duty is endearing, to say the least.
Oh, bugger!
Be at ease. They bear you no grudge, nor do I. How could we, having come to understand your purpose? For millennia, you and yours worked tirelessly towards the singular purpose of this heavenly vessel's construction. An arduous feat by any measure. 'Tis clear you have spared no effort. Why, your very names are a testament to your dedication.
Our names? I'm not sure I understand what you're getting at.
Names are an expression of the self, a declaration of one's hopes and aspirations. Your use of contemporary, uncomplicated nomenclature doth ensure clarity of purpose. There can be no doubt that your love for the people of Aetheris is boundless and pure.
Yes! Yes! A most mellifluous phrasing! We Loperids were born of Hydaelyn's love for Aetheris. That shining, shimmering blue jewel, brightest star in the sky, brimming with life and possibilities. For as long as I can remember, I've toiled in anticipation of the day when this vessel might be needed. All I've ever wanted was to meet those she cherished so dearly, to serve and serve well. That goes for all of us, don't you see? So help us help them. Lead them here where we can keep them safe. If there's anything wrong with what we've built, we'll fix it. We'll make it right.
Your works want not for repair. Yet there remaineth much for you to learn of men, and your own kin besides. Singing Way, thy name bespeaketh more than the simple marriage of rhythm and rhyme. The songs of Aetheris are beyond counting, and span the length and breadth of emotion. Maps are monuments to man.
Stream ruining Puddingway's debut. God. It's okay. I paused the dialogue. Hopefully we didn't miss too much. But Puddingway is all about communicating delicious deeds rather than tasteless words, because Urianger just pulled that out of his ass.
A judicious application of fey magics at a later juncture may be appropriate. And Living Way. 'Tis no easy feat to convey the significance of thy moniker. When I was a bookish boy, a dear friend of mine was fond of peppering me with questions as I read, to my occasional annoyance. One day, I posed to her a question of mine own. What doth it mean to live? After much contemplation, she proffered this answer. The anticipation of a half-read story's conclusion. The hope today's mistake may serve as tomorrow's lesson. The wish that a new acquaintance may one day call you friend.
It's back on. Mo and Brida died too early while I was rushing through.
Yo, Player Hater, thank you very, very much for the 26-month resub. Yes, Moonbrita... My second character, I was skipping through the story, and it's really like, if you don't watch the cutscenes and you don't really hone in on her, she's there and then she's gone. Like, you got a couple of cutscenes, and then here's his character, here's this duty, and she's dead. And you're like, oh, okay. But if you really hone in on when she's there, feelings. Lots of feelings. He's still talking about her right now. Moonbrita believed it to be all these moments and more.
I want to understand, but...
I, too, still labor to find mine own answer. 'Twould be my pleasure to assist you and yours in embarking on a journey of self-discovery and enlightenment. For thee. Ink as blue as the waters of Aetheris. Made in haste, though I assure thee, the quality has not suffered for it. The people need not be persuaded by honeyed words. Nay, I have faith they shall do what is right in due course. Until they do, I beg your patience, friends. And with that ink, let us fill the empty pages of Living Way's compendium. An open exchange of ideas will surely afford you all a better understanding of modern man, and with it, ideas for improvements and renovations. But more importantly, it shall empower us to together find a way forward.
I hope you're right. Thank you for this lovely gift.
There you have it. I shall remain with the Loporrits to ensure that all is in order. Though
Pretty sure
we
it's
must needs
almost theme
prepare
music
for
time.
every eventuality, you would all agree that the evacuation of our star is a last resort.
There it is.
To accept failure is to accept the demise not only of our star, but that of Reen's, of all reflections, and the souls that call them home. Which is why I have every faith that you shall fight to the last, that such drastic measures may prove unnecessary.
Should the worst come to the worst, and I pray deeply that it won't, I'll take comfort in knowing preparations were made under your watchful eye.
Aye, thou mayest be assured that if calamity cometh, not a soul will be left behind, if being the operative term.
Magical flower of hope. That flower, how come it into your possession? How very like her. Guided by its light, you may come to know her true intentions, intentions which remain a mystery even to us. In our time, we called it Elpis. You would do well to remember the name.
I hate to interrupt, but I feel like I need to make amends for all the secrecy.
Think nothing of it. We haven't been the most gracious of guests. Do convey our apologies to Growingway and the others.
But of course! And when next we welcome more guests from Aetheris, we'll have learned to be much more hospitable hosts. Oh, and circling back to the matter of inappropriate secrecy, we ought to discuss our benefactors.
Agreed. The Charlayan Forum, yes?
What? How did you know?
Because we ain't no dummies.
The more I heard, the more obvious it became. The Forum's aims align closely with those of your anonymous patrons. A telling coincidence would be an understatement. Though had we not taken it upon ourselves to peruse certain restricted tones in Labyrinthos, we might still be unaware of their plans. But let us continue this discussion upon our return. I dare say we have kept Alphino and the others waiting long enough.
And that's more or less the Moon Saga. We really don't have to worry about too much more extensive moon. So wake up, Stratustar! We're leaving the moon! It was a relief to see Livingway was pleased with my gift of ink. To serve, and serve well. Though their knowledge may be lacking, their boundless love is a blessing without peer. It will be no easy task to prepare them for what needs to be done, but gladly do I embrace this duty, even if it doth necessitate that we part ways for a time. Forgive me my absence, but I have the utmost faith in you, and all our fellow scions. When next I return to Aetheris, I pray I find you all in good health and good spirits. With the Loporrit's and Urianger's capable hands, we needn't worry about affairs here in our absence. Knowing now the face of their earthly collaborators, there is much to discuss with Alphino and the others. Let us return to the Tower of Babel. Our battle for the star will begin soon in earnest, and we must be prepared. Goodbye, Watcher. I chanced to spy you crossing the chasm, and I feared something was amiss. But all is well, and more importantly, I've been given the opportunity to behold a wonderful sight. Keep the Elpis close, and its light will be your guide. Thanks, friend. Come, Christmas Bear, it's time to leave the moon! But before I leave... Present! Okay, now we leave. God, I can scarcely believe we went to the moon and back. They're all so calm about it. They're like, oh shit, the moon was just struck by a laser. Guess you gotta go to the moon now. Hey, look, we're on the moon. Hey, look, we left the moon. Guys, you just went to the moon. And they're like, yep, it's another Tuesday. But we'll have time to reflect on that later. Right now, we'll need to head back to Camp Broken Glass and deliver a thoroughly detailed report to Lucia. I'd like very much to know how everyone is getting on there as well. They'd only just begun to treat the tempered prisoners when we left. I share your curiosity, but warning our allies of the final days is of greater importance. I speak not only of the contingent, of course. The heads of state of every nation must know what we have learned. We know not when or where the manner of the final days will begin to manifest, and so we must see that everyone is prepared. Agreed, though we may wish to stress the importance of discretion, lest the public be sent into a panic. Not that anyone is in a position of responsibility should need to be told as much, but it bears repeating. Anyway, first things first, to Camp Broken Glass. Well, like, guys, we just went to the moon. We just partied on the moon with a bunch of bunnies, and you have nothing more to say? Then, like, cool, business as usual, back to the job. Just another Monday night with these crazy kids. I suppose after you travel to another shard, the moon's not that crazy. Like, damn, I've been to like a parallel dimension. Moon? Pfft, baby talk. It is good to see you all again. No worse for your lunar adventure, I hope. We've done what we can for now, and believe me, we intend to tell you all about it. Before we do, might you tell us what's become of Garlemald in our absence? We've succeeded in subduing the Tempered inside the Tower of Babel. We took many alive, but combined with those who were already in our custody, the number requiring care has grown exponentially. The inclement conditions here have made it difficult, if not impossible, to treat them all here, and so we petition the aid of the allied nations. Some are, understandably, hesitant to proffer assistance, particularly those that were but recently subjected to imperial occupation. That said, several others have agreed to grant them refuge for treatment. With the assistance of your fellow scions, we endeavor to see them safely transported and subsequently cured of their tempering. Will all the tempered be relocated? Not all, no. We have sufficient shelter to attend to those whose treatment has begun, and enough healers have volunteered to remain until their patients have recovered. Julius is one such patient, though he is not yet fit to receive visitors. Truth be told, it was a miracle he and those in his company were not harmed in the chaos. Not for Alfino and Alize's timely assistance, I dare say none of them would be with us today. In light of recent developments, have the Alliance leaders come to any decisions regarding Garlemald? Given the tremendous ramifications of what has happened here, it will take time to determine what must be done. In the meantime, they intend to work with the Eastern Alliance to keep a close watch over the provinces. We have other news to share. Shortly after Anima was defeated, we received reports that each and every tower has vanished. For a mercy, the process was apparently not quite as violent as that you experienced in Thavnir. Those who were trapped within them have been rescued and are receiving treatment. To hasten this endeavor, the beast tribes have received instruction in the magics needed to cure tempering. Master Matoya is no doubt thrilled to the Mother Porxie affords her so many visitors. Yes, we are grateful for her ongoing efforts, as well as those of our comrades near and far. As for the contingent, several of our members have been granted leave to return to their homelands after the transfer of Tempered has been completed. Lucy and I will remain, along with a small force to continue offering aid to those here in Garlemald. The Empire may be no more, but there are yet those who call these lands home. I believe that accounts for recent events here. But what of the moon and the Telophoroi? Heh, shit's fucked, yo. World's gonna end, by the way. I kinda did a bad thing. This is why you don't leave the Warrior of Lead on her own. The final days. Gods, I prayed your victory would mark the end of our troubles. There is still much we do not know, but the Alliance leaders must be told. Would you be willing to contact them in our stead? Yes, of course. I will send word forthwith. We'll also release your fellow scions from their present duties that they may return to Sharlayan. Your energies are better spent finding a means to avert the coming apocalypse. Speaking of your fellow scions, you'll be happy to hear that Mistress Kryl, though still on the mend, has been moved to the Baldessian Annex and given into Totteru's care. Thank you. I look forward to seeing them both upon our return. Let us be on our way, then. One last thing, if I may. After your confrontation with Zodiark, you said Xenos took his leave, and in all likelihood has returned here to Garlemald. I have a mind to dispatch scouts to try and ascertain his whereabouts, but first wish to ask if you believe there is merit in doing so. If they found him, they would not likely live to tell the tale. An admirable but futile endeavor. Mayhap you're right. And I suppose if anyone is to hunt him down, it must be you. Who else could even hope to bring low that monster? Pray forget I entertained the notion. While on the subject of Xenos, the 10th Legion has made an official proclamation. They denounce the Crown Prince and condemn his role in the Empire's downfall. His very title has become a source of shame among his foremost subjects, and his continued use serves only to hinder relations with foreign nations. For this reason, he has been declared as Xenos Viator Galvis, outcast and enemy of Garlemald. Van Daniel is no more, and now his own people turn against him. It seems not but his bloodlust to keep him company. Better that than an army to see it sated. At any rate, I will not keep you longer. I pray your safe passage back to Charlian. Pray you. Can't speak English, by the way. Very hard language. I don't know where part 1 of New Game Plus ends. Because, like, we're kind of hitting the halfway point. We're at, like, the 84 quests. So, like, I don't want to stop. I mean, it's not even 10 o'clock. I'm not done for the night. But I'm just like, I don't want to stop. Like, and have, like, 2 seconds of quests left next time around. Though, honestly, if I finish part 1, like, right now, I'll probably boot up part 2 for, like, an hour. Because I think kind of going dungeon to dungeon was sort of nice pacing for my brain. I know it's long chunks, but it's not like anyone actually watches these videos back. Welcome back, Kinliana. We were so terribly worried about you. Though it is plain I've caused my own fair share of worry, and for that I apologize. Hydaelyn called out to me that day when you entered the Tower of Babel. Her pleas were faint but desperate, and I knew at once she required a vessel to carry out her will. What came after feels like a dream barely remembered. My body flowing through the life stream towards Garlemald. When I regained consciousness, I was all aches and frostbite, exhausted of ether. So exhausted, in fact, I could only laugh, for it was in that moment I understood Raha's weariness from the Tower of Zod. Would that I could laugh at a time like this, though. Though he prevented Zodiark from being unleashed upon the world, I am curious to know what else took place there on the moon. Bunnies, Kryl. Bunny. Ah, perhaps we should wait for the others to join us before you give your account. Let us reconvene in the main hall once they arrive. Sorry to have kept you all waiting. Not at all. We understand you've been quite busy. Will Urianger be joining us? Duty keeps him away, I'm afraid, though Kinliana can explain why better than I. See, they're bunnies. They're on the moon, and they really love this planet, and Urianger's hanging out with them. They're on a play date. Final days, as befell Amarot. We are to escape via the moon, but of the source and its reflection. I have no intention of standing by while the world falls to ruin. So how do we stop this? Unfortunately, we have no answers at present. If the celestial currents have grown stagnant, as was the case in the time of Amarot, The solution would be to alter the flow of aether throughout the entirety of the star. The ancients accomplished this by summoning Zodiark, sacrificing half the star's population in the doing, but it should go without saying that such a sacrifice cannot be repeated. Which leaves us with the daunting task of identifying the underlying catalyst for the final days, a feat which even the Amaratians could not accomplish. Unfortunately, we found no clues in Mare Lamentorum. There's still much we do not know about the catastrophe itself, let alone what may have caused it. The final days were marked by the corruption of the Amaratians' creation magics, but we command no such power, which invites the question, what havoc is in store for us? If we knew that much, perhaps we could draw some parallel with the events of the past, and thereby form some semblance of a plan. Perhaps we should start with the Forum, then. Having worked with the Loporrits in secret all this time, there is surely more they can tell us. Forgive the interruption, but I've urgent news! The Forum is holding a public assembly in the plaza outside. Some sort of announcement. What is Father up to now? There's only one way to find out.
Order! Order, I say! I thank you all for gathering here on such short notice. This day we must speak of grave affairs and their implications for the future of Sharlayan, nay, of this very star. Said affairs concern all citizens, and so we have called for a public assembly. You may have heard rumors of the Telophoroi and the havoc these madmen wreak abroad. Under normal circumstances, we would pay little heed to petty disturbances outside our borders. The final days, however, are another matter altogether. For we dare not ignore these prophetic words of Eld. The End-Bearers will come, ushering chaos and calamity. The final days descend and devour the very star.
I've never heard this prophecy.
Is it true? Will all that really happen?
Calm yourselves. The time has come to speak of the Forum's most sacred duties. But first...
Give voice to the voiceless. Let bindings be unbound. By unanimous decree, I declare the enchantment broken.
Master Leveilleur, if you would.
Very well. "270 years ago, our forebears began an expedition in the Dravanian hinterlands, in search of a route to access the ethereal sea. This much is public knowledge. Their findings, however, would become the Forum's most closely guarded secret. What those researchers discovered in the hinterlands was not a passage unto the ethereal sea, but the very heart of our star, and Hydaelyn herself. She spoke to them of a calamity that would extinguish all life, and of a means by which we might be spared. The moon. 'Tis in truth a gargantuan vessel built to serve as sanctuary for her children and deliver them from this doom. Much like Nunkref's hope in ages past, it will bear the people of a world in the throes of death to a new home.
Needless to say, this will be no small undertaking. To facilitate the great work, the Forum has maintained close contact with the servants of Hydaelyn, who presently reside on the moon. Convinced that the foretold end was all but inevitable, we began amassing a wealth of knowledge, not merely for the betterment of our nation, but in preparation for the journey to come.
You reveal this to us now? By the gods, how long do we have?
While we cannot say with certainty, we believe the hour to be nigh. We received a transmission from the moon suggesting as much not long ago. Which is why we must in earnest begin preparations for the Great Exodus. For his impressive contributions and the leadership he demonstrated during our withdrawal from Dravania, we have elected Master Leveilleur to oversee this initiative.
Fellow scribes and scholars, my countrymen, we face a threat of unprecedented scale. We must challenge the trials before us with composure and conviction if we are to find salvation. The wisdom of Sharlayan has ever been a shining beacon in the darkness, and so it shall continue to be. It is our solemn charge to see our heritage preserved for future generations. For those who will come after, we will brave a new frontier.
Administrative edicts will be relayed to all major institutions ere long. In the meantime, carry on with your duties. With that, I hereby call this assembly to a close.
Do you remember what Mother told us when we visited home? That it wasn't until after we were born that Father seemed to lose himself in his work. If that great work of his was the evacuation of this star, then...
Yes. It wasn't for his benefit. Would you mind waiting here a moment? I wish to speak with Father before we leave.
Take your time.
Thank you. I shan't be long.
If it's all the same to you, I have a few choice words to share with Father as well.
So, come to call us cowards and bid us join your fruitless battle against the inevitable.
Nay, We do not object to the Forum's proposal. On the contrary, those who wish to flee have every right to do so. Urianger is cooperating with your associates on the moon to ensure that all is ready should evacuation be our only recourse.
Then whatever your business, I suggest you be brief.
Though we cannot boast the boundless wisdom of Charlian, we have first-hand knowledge of foreign cultures and have conversed with no small number of peoples. These experiences have taught us fundamental truths that cannot be recorded in any tome, nor charted on any map. The beating heart of this planet is its people, many of whom would give anything, even their lives, to protect the lands they love. Many may choose to join you in the end. But what of those unwilling or unable, for whom escape will never be an option? What would you have them do? To ignore the plight of those one might conceivably save is not wisdom, Father. It is indolence. This is why we choose to fight.
We'll not ask for your understanding, Father. Only that you don't turn a blind eye to the good we have done, that we can still do. We're not children in need of protection. Hold fast to your principles and let the world burn if it please. But we believe there is still another way. And if there is, we will find it. You see if we don't.
Do as you will. Just stay out of our way.
Were he not so consumed with self-righteousness, he might tell you how proud he is of you both.
Bold words call for bold action. And there'll be no turning to your father should plans go awry.
As if I ever would. So long as there are those who wish to stay and fight for this star, we have to do what we can to help them.
And if we're to do that, we'll need to be well rested. Wouldn't you agree? And having triumphed over what we once thought to be the source of all evil, I can think of no one in greater need of at least a dozen winks.
Shall we then? To the Annex, to prepare for tomorrow.
Yeah, so the Forum is preparing to flee. Because they be a bunch of babies. They've broken the enchantment that keeps them from talking about it. Now they can talk to everyone. And cause widespread panic. Yay! I mean, what? Was this the dating sim? Hold on. Ryle tells me the Forum made a rather momentous announcement, so there's to be a great exodus, is there? I'm reminded of my narrow escape from the Isle of Val. The realization, the running, the mixture of relief and regret after. Why me, I asked myself. Why me? Why us? Why now? Why wonder? There's no use fretting over the cosmic morality or lack thereof. We're here, and we'll get through this together. And who knows, maybe my luck will rub off and grant everyone a narrow escape. There's no harm in praying for as much. Oh, but enough of my rambling. I'm sure you're exhausted. Your chamber awaits. I'm pretty sure that this is the date sim portion of the game. Let's fucking go! I'm gonna have to rewatch in the inn. If it is. At least one other character. Sorry, I smacked my mic. Is the date sim? The visitors come knocking at your door. Whoever could it be? Who am I going on a date with, everybody? Canonically, it would be Alize. Oh, but I kind of want to rewatch these. Okay, we're going to go Alize. And then we're going to go to the inn, and we're going to watch Ystolas, because I need footage replaying Ystolas. Honestly, we should just go back to the inn and watch all of them, to be honest. That might be how we end today's stream, is just dating sim spree. That'll be the end of it. So canonically, it would be Alize, but we're going to go back and we're going to watch every date scene that possibly exists.
Craving a midnight snack, were you? I did consider bringing a few sweets, but decided this wasn't an appropriate occasion. I couldn't sleep. Had a few things on my mind. I know it's late, so I'll try not to talk your ear off. It's Xenos. I keep thinking back to Garlemald when he'd taken control of your body. An altogether terrifying experience, to say the least, and one that served as a harsh reminder. No one, no matter how strong or quick or clever, is invincible. Not even you. And as much as it might seem at times that you are, one misstep, one mistake, and that's that. Which is why, even though I know you've heard it 1,000 times before, I'm going to tell you to take better care of yourself. Because you really, really should. It goes without saying that we're all committed to this fight. But that doesn't mean that we need to throw our lives away. You know how I feel about noble sacrifices. Right, that's settled. We'll be keeping the acts of gratuitous bravado to a minimum. When I looked father in the eye and swore we'd find a way to avert this tragedy, it wasn't a promise just for him. It was a promise for you, too.
My gay little heart. I love her. Short while earlier, in the Alamegan Quarter.
Thank the gods that tower is gone. The sight of it was enough to make me sick.
Thank the Ilsebar contingent, more like. Word is, they fought their way into Garlemald and toppled the bloody thing themselves. Not just the one, neither. All the towers have up and vanished.
Aye, I heard the same. Commander Aldin and his troops helped keep casualties to a minimum, too. But is it true they brought back tempered Garlean soldiers?
As Commander Aldin tells it, they've a treatment for that now. But don't you worry. Cured or not, they've no plans to bring them into the city proper.
I see. Well, that's a relief then. I know we've brothers and sisters among the lot, but I can't say I'm eager to welcome them home.
Wanted to think about it for a while yet. But to be looked after in Alagana for the time being.
Meanwhile, in Ishgard.
Another day, another commission of paramount importance. Oh, what have we here? Hey, are you all right? Was that? No. The shadows play tricks, nothing more. The towers are gone, and the Garlean threat has abated. And yet, why does it feel as though it's about to get much, much worse?
Yeah, there it is. Quest complete, Endwalker Part 1. So that's the first half, and now we're gonna go back and rewatch all of the date scenes, and that will be it for the stream. Yeah, Endwalker Part 1. We fixed the tower problem, and we went to the moon, and then we accidentally kickstarted the end of the world. Oops. I do be like that sometimes. Let's see. That was a level 84 quest, I believe. Yeah, returning home. Yeah, oops. Oopsie doodle, we kickstarted the end of the world. Let's see. Cutscene number 3? Nope. It's cutscene number 2. So we saw the canonical Alize comes to the door cutscene, because Alize is the best child. But there's actually one of these scenes that has my heart even more. It gave me feelings. But we're gonna watch all of them, because I need the footage for, personal reasons. I don't think I've seen all of them either. I've only seen most of them. We'll go in order of least favorite character to favorite character. Here's my point blank call out stream. Point blank pew pew. A visitor has come to your door. Whoever could it be? Well, out of these options, sorry, Thancred. This is Thancred.
Evening. I hoped you hadn't crawled beneath the covers just yet. If you'll indulge me for a moment, I have a favor to ask. Don't worry. Nothing desperate or dire, if that's what you were wondering. Not yet. You know, we may have quite literally entered our final days. The ancients went so far as to call it that for a reason. If so, then everything we did for Reen, for the first, will have been meaningless. And I can't accept that. I just can't. My mind won't allow for the possibility. And that could be a problem. When we're in the thick of it, I don't know if I've got it in me to be pragmatic this time. To run, even if running's the right choice. The only choice. So if you see me turning a blind eye to the harsh reality, beat some sense into me, would you? I trust you and the other Scions with my life. And I'd like to think the feeling is at least occasionally mutual. And I never forgive myself if my stubbornness put them in danger. Gods, listen to me. Beginning to sound like the father I never had. So, can I count on you to keep me in line? I can think of no one else more eminently qualified. Excellent. Now I can breathe a bit easier. Which isn't to say that I will, given what we're up against. Let's keep this little chat our secret. I'd rather not have anyone scolding us for burning the midnight oil.
Alright, I hadn't seen that one, and that was kind of cute. Though, to be honest, I'm pretty sure Ken would be right there with him, because it would undo everything we did in the first, and it would render Minfilia's sacrifice absolutely meaningless. And that's definitely not something Ken would be able to accept. Plus, she built a very strong camaraderie with Reen after she and Minfilia fuse. I just realized that they denied us an Urianger date scene. What the fuck? There are probably many people out there who would date that man. I'd probably put him right after Thancred, personally, but, you know, that's because I'm gay. You guys will find a trend of who's at the bottom of this list. It's probably the 3 men. Oh, there's 4 men. Let's see. Next would probably have to go to Rahat.
Oh, apologies. I didn't mean to...
The music, though. They cater it to each character, and it's so good.
Thank you. I fear this may be the last quiet night we have to talk for quite some time. I am troubled of late. Unwarranted concerns, perhaps. I hope. Nevertheless, I feel compelled to share them with you. Though you have bested your enemies thus far, Xenos and even Zodiac, your victories have come at a considerable cost to yourself. No one is without their limits, and you are no exception. I worry the added weight of the final days will prove more than you can bear. It is surely too much for any one woman. But you needn't bear it alone. Let me share your burden. My, carrying capacity pales in comparison to yours, but I could still help. Shoulder the occasional satchel from your ever-growing mountain of baggage.
He's trying so hard.
To help relieve me of mine own encumbrances. 'Tis
'tis only fair that I repay you in kind. Of course, it needn't be only troubles we share. Moments of joy may seem few and far between now, but there will come a time when we look back fondly on this journey. The inquiry at the Forum, our march through the snows of Garlemald, our impromptu dinner in this very room. All of it. And that is to say nothing of the journeys yet to come, to the ends of the world and beyond. But tomorrow will be no less busy than today, and I've kept you from your rest long enough. Sleep well, my friend.
Grahatia is such a good boy. Like, him being second to last is nothing against his character. It is just the fact that I'm a raging lesbian. Grahatia is such a good boy. Honestly, he should probably be higher than I put him. Honestly, I probably should have put Alfino and then Graha. I just let my blindness of the twins take over. So, reverse this. We're going to do Alfino next, but it should have gone Thancred at the bottom, Alfino, Graha. Graha and Alfino might be tied. I just love the twins. I really love Alize, but Alfino's a good boy. Alfino's grown so much. A knock at your door. Who could it possibly be? My touchpad doesn't want to let me pick, apparently. Hello? Can I play the video game? Not allowed, apparently. Well, can I not? Am I not allowed to pick an option? No. Touchpad's acting finicky. Alfino, is that you? My precious boy?
I hope I didn't wake you. I pray you will forgive the unannounced visit, but I wish to speak with you before retiring for the night. About Garlemald, and the time we spent with the people of Tertium. Dangerous though it was, I'm glad we had the opportunity to treat with Eulus and Quintus. I was worried what might happen after we were collared. If they attempted to restrain you too. If they succeeded. Once more, I put you in harm's way. And for that, I must apologize. Or rather, I should thank you for trusting in me time and time again. After all our journeys together, I dare say I've used every expression imaginable to convey to you my gratitude. Nevertheless, I hope these words of mine still carry some small weight. Tomorrow, our fight continues. Mayhap it would have been better to seek you out after we have true cause for celebration. But having mustered the courage to stand up to Father, and achieve a personal victory of sorts, I wanted to carry on in that spirit before my nerves got the better of me. The hour grows late, and you doubtless tire of my ramblings. I have a letter for Orenvold to finish, but we'll be off to bed shortly. Sleep well.
Yeah, you go write your boyfriend, Alfino. You're a good noodle. It's hard. I think Graha and Alfino are tied. I really couldn't decide who goes one above the other. They're both cute little innocent noodles. I just really do love the twins. I have a weakness for white-haired individuals. white-haired anime characters. Who could it possibly be? Stinian, is that you? This one's really funny. The way it ends. It's endearing, but it ends very funny.
You're alone. Good.
Dragon song music.
The twins thought now would be a wonderful time to pay a visit to my chambers. Rather than listen to them bicker over tonight's snacks and tomorrow's plans, I seized the first opportunity to make my escape. To their credit, they decided against intruding on your peace and quiet. Can all be a bit exhausting at times, can't it? I wasn't sure what to make of you at first. During the Dragon Song War, how quick you were to take up a cause not your own. But I came to see that is simply the way of you and yours. I will not pretend to understand this talk of ancient primals and the final days. But I trust in your judgment and choose to believe in your cause. You and Alphino have my lance. Now and always. You'll need it. Rack and ruin looming on the horizon. Calamity bearing down upon us. There's no place I'd rather be than here. Standing shoulder to shoulder with friends on the front line. So do not hesitate to send me against your enemies. I'll make them rue the day they met me. Now, if you'll excuse me, I could do with a little air.
Man strolls
If Alphino
into your
asks,
bedroom.
I was never here.
Strolls into your bedroom, unlike the rest of them. What does he do once he gets in there? Fucking leaps out the window. What a man.
Tomorrow.
He's a smooth motherfucker. Whee! His people need him. Fucking Dragoon. Leaving me there. Standing there with my door open. I love it so much, Stratustar. He just fucking leaps out the window. Now this one is my favorite of all the scenes. It's just in the tier of, you know, would Kin want to date you? She's second. Because Alize is a cute elf twin who is luckily no longer underage. Because this journey has definitely been years. And if it hasn't, FBI open up. But Y'shtola's cutscene, this hurts my heart. This actually is, it's gonna make me cry, like right here. This cutscene is so good.
You're still awake. Good. Might I trouble you to stand still for a moment? Nothing appears out of the ordinary. precautionary measure. You will recall that serving as a vessel for abundant light in the First very nearly ended poorly. In your recent battle on the moon, you were almost certainly exposed to similar, if not greater, forces. Fortunately, from what I can see, you and your ether are none the worse for wear. Would that Reen were here to confirm my assessment. To think you actually found yourself in a direct confrontation with Zodiark. As if Xenos gallivanting about in your body was not misfortune enough. Did you so grossly offend every single deity in a past life that they saw fit to place a curse upon your soul? Forgive me. That was in poor taste. I recall vividly how battered and broken it was in the depths of Amarot. Would that you could have seen it with your own eyes. Mayhap then you would understand why the greater part of me is glad you did not. It was a horror beyond description. Promise me you will be careful, that you will seek my counsel if you feel unwell. That puts my heart at ease, if only a touch. I suspect it will grow colder as the night wears on, so do be sure to stay warm. Sleep well, and may the shadows keep you.
She cares so much, and that really just made me think about the fact that she had to watch your soul fall to pieces as the light ether took over you in Shadowbringers. She had to just watch that happen, and then like you try and run off to Amarot on your own, and like that has to be devastating as a friend. And it's like, wow, she cares so much. She's like traumatized from the fact that she had to watch you fall apart for their sake. God, my feelings. I have a lot of feelings. But that's the last date scene since we watched Alize's in the scene itself. And I appreciate Alize. She's a delightful character. But, and just her crushing on you throughout the entirety of, like, the game. It's just watching that crush develop is fucking beautiful. But that's gonna be it for tonight. We finished Endwalker Part 1. Yeah, it's too late to start Part 2. Without, we'd only get like half an hour in, and there's lots to happen now that the world's ending. Thavnir on the map done went crispy and black. Things are going down, but we ended on a nice, light-hearted, Squeenix-provided date sim, minus Urianger, because they thought he would be too powerful to allow on a date with his smooth English. So thank you for hanging out. If you're lurking, I appreciate you. If you're not lurking, I also appreciate you. Just shout-outs to the lurkers. Thank you for the resubs. Fun time together. Didn't have a raid today, but honestly, just hanging out and doing this was probably for the best. Tomorrow's Tuesday, and I have Dungeons and Dragons at 7 p.m. So I might do a little stream before that, but if I don't, probably no stream until Thursday, unfortunately, because Wednesday I'm actually going into Boston. Actually, probably no stream tomorrow. I forgot I have a later doctor's appointment, so the time is cut even shorter. Unfortunately, raid Thursday, next stream. Probably something before raid. Again, maybe more New Game Plus before and after, because heckin' 7 p.m. start. So, as always, I appreciate you for hanging out with me. That lurk emote, do give me the happies. Hope you guys have a great evening. I will highlight this. It'll go up on YouTube, yada yada yada. Someday I'll write more fanfiction that, hey, my last one has 21 kudos. That's so many. Damn, dude. Like 130 people have read that. I'm embarrassed. Have a great night, guys. I will hopefully see you next time.